All right, guys, I wanted to give an example of new construction done right. This is 730 East Cabaret Drive. It's a simple three-bed, two-bath, two-car garage plan I've built a bunch of times. This is in the market. I learned to build in here in Colorado, and this is the plan I've built many times. So I'm going to start by showing you the plan, the house, the numbers, and the area, and then kind of drive home the points. I like this one because it's a good example of what spec home can make you. So here's the finished product. I started marketing this long before it was complete. So once you have the permit in this market, you're allowed to put it on the MLS. So if you come down here, listed it for sale at the beginning of 2022. And for anyone that remembers, that was a crazy year, crazy year. So we actually increased the price. Now, at the same time, costs were going up. So it's not really like this represented an additional $10,000 in profit because as we went through this, prices continued to go up for lumber, concrete, subs, just about everything. So anyways, $395. They ended up wanting a $3,000 concession, so we did $398 as the sales price. Went under contract April the 12th. They appraised it right at $398, and it sold. Now, the plan is very, very simple. Two-car garage, master bedroom and bath on one side, walk-in closet, and then the guest beds with the bath on the other side, giving some space and privacy. And then big open living room, dining room, lots of natural light, the way this was set up coming in. So that's the plan. Quite simple, nothing fancy, but it appeals to first-time home buyers, millennial first-time home buyers, and retiring, downsizing baby boomers. So those are the two biggest buyers in this market, and I think the two biggest buyers in general. So it was very much appealing to the largest pool of buyers, and there weren't many houses available under 400 as far as new construction. So that set it apart. Now let's look at the area. This is important. This is the lot. Let me zoom out even further. So this is Pueblo West, Colorado. This is kind of the main drag, main highway coming through. And this is where the majority of the density is, whereas this green stuff is A3, which are almost entirely single family lots that are at an acre or just over an acre. So as this grew up here, eventually this little section, this little section of commercial became relevant. And this had been sitting dormant for a very long time. And what happened in 2021 is a Dollar General came in and built here. They expanded, I think they expanded the fire station. There's a fire station right over here. And then a big developer came in and bought several hundred lots and was building all throughout here. I know some of this got rezoned and replatted. I believe this is wrong. But anyways, all that to say, this area started to get developed and a much larger builder came in and they were improving the infrastructure. So when I bought this lot, it was just my normal land business. I was planning to flip it, right? We got it at a little over 17 all in. But that developer then came in and repaved the road that week that I was buying it. So I thought, maybe we should build on this one. And more than that, he was building all kinds of 420 to $550,000 houses just to the north of this lot. And so I said, well, that presents an opportunity. Let's go be the only house under 400 new construction right next to all these more expensive homes. And of course, benefit from all that he was spending to repave the roads and such, right? So that's a big part of what presented the opportunity here. All right, let's look at the expenses. So these are all the expenses, all inclusive, from the total amount I paid on the lot, right from the HUD. I paid my acquisition manager a fee for getting the HUD. Um, for anyone that's familiar with building, I know this is obscenely low that I paid a total of 800 for engineering, but that is Pueblo, Colorado. Survey was 450. Everything was pretty cheap. This has gone up since then. Just about everything's gone up. Of course, loan points and interest were much cheaper back then, but oh well, they've gone up quite a bit. Trusses, interest, appliances, all the miscellaneous expenses We'll get into that in more detail on a separate video, really going into construction. This is more just illustrative, big picture wise. But all that to say, the total cost after everything, realtor commissions on the back end, every closing fee, etc., 341, 153, 48, taking off the 398, leaves $56,846.52. So this is a very average build. This is, 40 to 60 grand is very normal for a spec home of this price. Again, this one sold when it was really hot. This product right now would probably sell 370 to 380. But it's much easier to get subs. You can get a number of these items cheaper. Lumber's calmed way down. And so ultimately, I would expect a very similar margin on this sort of house. If my contractor who's building those duplexes I made the other video on performs, I'll have probably one or two of these built as well because there's still a market for them. So let's go back for a second here and just make a couple points. I already hit on it, but something that's really important here is I went with the product that's most accessible to the most people, and there was very, very few available homes under 400. So it was the most reachable to the most people, fit the demographics of the market, right? I didn't try and build $1 million spec house. That would not have gone well down here, but I still made it nice, right? This isn't a trailer. I've seen people try and build 3-bed, 2-baths down there that were very poorly done modulars, and they sit forever because they just look like crap. This one looked fine. It's an entry-level house, but it's nice, right? Number two, I followed the big guy. This developer who was doing the 100+ houses over there benefited from what he was doing, both in that he presented a point of reference of 420 to 550 over here, all the houses, and then here's mine at 395. And then he also spent a lot of money to improve the roads all around it. So I benefited from following the big guy, which is a useful lesson. Number two, just commenting on the market and it's selling quickly and over ask. You tend to get lucky when you're always participating, when you're always playing, right? If you're constantly doing deals, if you're constantly participating, you'll be there to take advantage of that when things are going well. And so I think that's important just to keep in mind where some of the outlier deals we've done just in the land business too would never have gotten them if we weren't doing a lot of deals. And so just constantly doing business is important. So you're always in the position to get lucky. And then the final thing I wanted to say is this is the result of years of groundwork. So I already had this plan in place with an engineer who had done this plan for me many times, and a contractor who had done this plan for me a bunch of times, and a realtor who was used to selling this plan. And so that well-oiled machine really worked on this specific build. And I probably worked, I don't know, 5 to 6 hours on this altogether. That's a really, really high hourly rate. But there was a lot of upfront work that went into putting this system together, which speaks to the importance of picking something and getting really, really good at it, right? So I've been doing the direct to seller marketing for land for years and years. I've been doing these new construction specs for years. And after many, many iterations, it becomes a well-oiled machine. It gets easier, and so many people don't do something or do anything consistently long enough to get to that point. And so I think that's just an important point here where that's a great dollar per hour, but it's the result of years and years of consistent iteration. So that's 730 East Cabaret. It's a great example of building a spec home and the kind of money you can make. More to come with more specifics on the stages of construction.